Have you ever seen a mystery bundle of games in one of those third-party shops? Ever wondered what's inside? Is it a good value? Are the games good? Well, as I was checking out on Fanatical the other day, the curiosity got the better of me. So let's find out what's in one of their mystery bundles. Each bundle has 4 games, at least the one they show you on the checkout page, and the product page for it says things like, will you get a highly rated, critically acclaimed title or an absolute classic? And now with even more fantastic new to mystery games. And we all know this is just a thinly veiled premise for me to review more games, so let's jump in with the first game, The Sinking Forest. The Sinking Forest is a Japanese survival horror game full of tension, drama, and violence. If you like psychological horror games with exploration, puzzles, and limited resources, you'll enjoy an intense experience where every decision can mean the difference between finding Sayuri or getting lost in the forest forever. Made by @TonyDevGame, and it released in October of 2024. It's got 43 reviews, 74% positive at the time of writing. You play as a man looking for his sister who hasn't been answering her texts for the last few days. It's a cell phone we gave him last year for his 18th birthday. Look how she trashed it like this. Huh. I'm sure she bought the latest model. I've tried to call her somehow looking for the GPS of her number, but it's useless. She doesn't have the GPS activated, and we can't look for it until 72 hours have passed, according to the police. I have to do something now. He has never been more than 2 days without giving signs of life. I'm assuming the he's are just typos and or mistranslations. You start out exploring her apartment where you find some pretty disturbing things. What's in the power strip? Is this lore? Is this an accurate power strip? Because it looks to me like this fan is plugged in 3 times. And in fact, I do believe that's what's happening. The cord comes out of the base of the fan and it's plugged into the power strip 3 times. Oh. It seems that urban explorations are more than just a hobby. Some people collect stamps, others collect stickers, but Sayuri collects ghoulish things. Despite all that, our character still wants to find her, so we continue snooping. Eventually, we learn she's gone to find a lost city of monks who used to live embalm themselves for whatever reason. And I don't have a better place for this, but while I was reading the emails, I realized that you can actually reply to them. It doesn't do anything as far as I know, but I thought it was a nice touch. This is an email from a weekly horror podcast that our sister listens to, and I thought I would respond like a normal fan might. Hello, another day on your weekly horror podcast. Today we continue with the legend of Inunaki Village. Legend has it that this is where the whole topic of mummification of monks started. The Soku Shinbutsu are a type of Buddhist mummification. The practice refers to Buddhist monks who perform asceticism to the point of death and enter mummification while alive, in which their physical body reaches cadaveric incorruptibility. Terrifying. It is believed that this practice was developed by a Japanese monk named Kukai over 1,000 years ago. His intention was to perform the act of religious discipline and dedication of the highest intensity. According to legend, Kukai is the first Soku Shinbutsu, and he is still alive in deep meditation lost in the village of Inunaki.
Whoa, that is crazy. I work with a guy named Kukai. He doesn't really speak. Do you think that it could be the monk from Inunaki?
And for the first hour or so, the game is really just a creepy walking simulator. Wow, this flashlight sucks dick, dude. There's a few hints at what's happening, a couple jump scares, and even more jump scare fake outs. Dang. That was needlessly loud. You do eventually find the monk's village, and the game starts to introduce a few puzzles and some light combat. It's still mostly a walking simulator, but now you can die. Oh, and the candle's out now. Yes. Ooh. It's the izakaya mannequin. It's moving and coming for me. What a fun thing. Photo of the mannequin added to the inventory. The only notable thing is that the lore is surprisingly fleshed out. Usually in this type of game, the story is second to the vibes, so my expectations were pretty low, but they were exceeded nonetheless. And the way you get lore is pretty novel as well. In the beginning of the game, when you're still exploring the apartment, there's a camera you can optionally pick up that gives you some exposition about whatever you're taking a picture of. Envelope photo that needs to be shaken. Oh, that's fun. 3D printer. An old CRTV that my father had that I thought Sayuri would use to play retro video games, but it seems she's found another use for it. There's also a 3D printer she bought last year, but with the dust on it, I guess she hasn't spent much time on it. It wasn't revolutionary, but like I said, novel. And I don't want to spoil the whole game, just in case this is anyone's thing, but there's an interesting end to the game. Overall, I don't know that I'd recommend this game to most people, but if this is your type of game, you'll probably have fun. Also, there's a physical version for the PS5 that came out late last year, which is neither here nor there, but I thought it was pretty neat. As far as value goes, the game retails for $4.99 and has a historical low of 74 cents, so if it's your kind of game, you'd have made your money off the bundle, so to speak. The next game in the bundle is Cryofall. That, from their Steam page, is a sci-fi colony simulation survival game set on a planet in the distant future. Not word salad at all. Developed by Atomic Torch Studio, published by Daedalic Entertainment, it was released April of 2021 and has 1,500 reviews, 74% of which are positive. This isn't like a perfect match for me, but I do have quite a few hours in open world survival games as well as automation games, which I assumed this game was. And it is, but it's complicated. I put 7 hours into this game, and I am still a long ways off from unlocking anything that remotely resembles automation.
Wait a minute, something ain't right.
As I'm editing this, I decided that I would go look up what the drones actually do, because I assumed that you could, tell them to gather a specific type of resource or something. No. You have a remote control and you have to manually tell them to go harvest a resource. It just makes it so you can harvest them faster. So there is no automation at all. And the only point to the tech tree is to harvest resources slightly faster. But yeah, back to past Zach, who didn't know that the robots were basically pointless. The main gameplay loop is running around repeatedly gathering resources, which is tedious in and of itself. It boils down to literally just holding down a mouse button most of the time. And then you use those resources to upgrade your tools, which lets you gather resources ever so slightly faster. Also, the tools break, and you don't have a way to repair them until like way farther in the game. It's like the worst aspect of the two genres, open world survival and automation, but rather than moving on from it after the first 30 minutes, you just keep doing it for hours and hours. Now, my experience wasn't all bad. I do like the tech tree in the game. It was a little inspired as far as open world survival games go, but when you have little to no story to speak of, and your gameplay loop is something that I would expect from a 2009 Facebook game, not all bad is about the highest praise I can give. The game does have online multiplayer, and I think that's what it's geared towards, so if online games are your thing, you might have more fun than I did. But as a single player experience, I think you'd have to pay me to play it again. Value-wise, the game retails for $20, but is regularly on sale for less than $2. So I guess in pure monetary terms, you're getting a lot from this mystery game, but as far as quality, honestly, I think this tracks from the bundle overall. And for the record, I'm writing this 2 weeks after I last played the game, and I'm obviously still annoyed about it, so. The next game is Deck of Souls. Its description: roguelike deck building meets Souls-like. Break out of an infinite loop to close the Hellgates, turn enemies into cards, and build your own omnipotent Deck of Souls. Made by Bigfoot Studios and published by HeroCraft PC. It was released in December of 2024 and has 152 reviews, 85% of them positive. This is another genre where I'm not the biggest fan. Roguelikes, for me, are 50-50, and turn-based is almost always a miss. One of the few exceptions to that, however, is Hand of Fate, so I did have a little hope for this game. And it was fine. I'm pretty neutral on this one. I had a fun time with the game, but it's not one that I wanted to replay or even finish after I lost my first run. My only real complaint, and the reason that I'm tepid about it, is the one run where I did die was 2.5 hours long, and I did not even make it to the final act. I was like 2/3 of the way through, so we're talking like a 5-hour run, 4-hour run. And I'm all for games with long playtimes. That's how a lot of people define their value, but 2.5 hours for a single run in a roguelike is not the way. I'm looking for something that's 20 to 30 minutes long and lets me try new builds kind of rapidly and take advantage of the meta progression, and Deck of Souls did not deliver on that. Everything else was good though, or at least fine. I liked the art. There was a pretty involved story, at least for a game like this. and the game gave you a good amount of agency in your choices, and those factored into the story as well as influenced your run. The cards and mechanics themselves were solid, but I just can't commit to 3+ hours of strategic turn-based combat. It's too much in one sitting. But maybe that's just my ADHD. I would still recommend the game though if you like card battlers, roguelikes, or don't mind long strategy games. If you're remotely interested, I think it's a solid game even for its retail price of $11.99, and even more so when it's on sale for $7, $8, which is basically all the time. So that's another win for the mystery bundle, 2 out of 3 so far. That brings us to our last game, Internet Cafe Simulator 2. Described as an extremely comprehensive and detailed internet cafe business simulation game. It was released in January of 2022, developed and self-published by Cheesecake Dev. It has just over 2,000 reviews with 71% being positive, which makes it the most played but lowest reviewed game in the bundle, which is interesting because it was my favorite of the bunch. The premise of the game is pretty simple. You have a couple $1,000, an empty internet cafe, and you need to build a successful business. You're supposed to start out by buying one of the 4 types of entertainment: an arcade machine, a console, a computer, or a VR table. Or you can spend your money upgrading your computer that you run the business from, which, as far as I'm aware, has 0 impact on the game. I definitely don't know this from personal experience. Once you get started, the gameplay loop is simple but fun. You progressively get more and nicer things for your cafe, allowing you to have more customers at once and charge all of them more per minute. There are quite a few things that can disrupt your cafe though, like thieves. Asshole. Or humans with bombs strapped to them. Oh, fuck you. Or even computers that spontaneously combust.
I'm about to combust. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. Oh, good lord.
But as you progress, you can more or less pay to make these things go away. You can hire a bouncer that stops thieves and also chases down customers that try to leave without paying. Or you can hire a guard that just shoots the bombers. Oh, I was wondering where the guy keeping guard was. I guess they're bombing me. It's probably not that excessive, but you know, seems a little heavy-handed, I suppose. You can also get an automated fire extinguisher, so you get the idea. There's also a series of basic quests that mostly involve giving people money or beating people up. And while we watch me beating up Temu Vin Diesel, I wanted to remind you that you matter. I am glad you're here today, and I hope you're here for many years to come. No matter how bad today is, it can never take tomorrow from you. There's more mechanics like multiple skill trees, but I'd be here a while if I listed them all. The last one I'll mention though is something called Warcry, which is an in-game game that pays homage to MMOs by making you grind trash mobs to get better and better gear. There's not much of a point if you aren't going for achievements, but I love a game within a game, and you can convert your MMO gold to IRL money just like real life. My only criticism really is it's a bit buggy. Nothing game breaking, but enough to be annoying. Can I get out, please? Please let me out. Uh-oh. For the retail price of $20, I don't know if I'd recommend it, but if you catch it on sale, it's a solid 8-ish hours. For me, it was the best game in the mystery bundle. Overall, if you aren't super picky about your games, a bundle like this is probably a good value. The retail cost of the games was $57, not that that's a good metric, and even if I wasn't playing them to make a video, I think I'd get $340 worth of value just from trying out the different games. Regardless, I had a good time making this video, even if the games didn't blow me away, and I plan on making another, and maybe more since I've already bought 4 bundles at this point. Oops. Anyways, I've been Alaskan Beard, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day.